everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my dear friend Victoria Reynolds and my new friend Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hello, hello.
Hi. I didn't want to try to say your last name because I was afraid I'd mess it up. That's the hardest, just for anyone, that's the hardest thing about doing these podcasts is not messing people's names up. But anyway.
Can't mess up Jason.
Just Jason's perfect. And it's like Mason too. So today we're talking about protection and a way to share your divine gifts, your genius, and your reason why you came here to planet Earth during these changing times by being smart about it and by creating some 3D preventative measures that'll help you as you evolve on this new road to higher spirituality. And lots of people are seeing that as they're waking up, as more of their consciousness is embodying in their physical vessel, a lot of people are remembering ancestral wounds that were from years before, either in their family line or in their timeline, in their different lifetimes, that where when they came out spiritually, they were condemned or they lost their lives. So there is kind of a primal fear about this time period of changing and evolving, that this service could really make a difference in giving you comfort and convenience. So with that, Victoria, do you want to explain more, go deeper?
Yeah, thank you so much for Kathy, because I'm remembering when I first, what I call coming out of the spiritual closet. And it's a little scary because there is not understanding how people are going to respond to, us when we start using these gifts that are misunderstood by the general public. I know when I first started coming out about 15 years ago as a conscious channel, there were some people whose families were actually putting them in therapy because they thought there was something wrong with them. Like they thought they had schizophrenia or something like that, because we those of us who are telepathic communicators, we communicate with the unseen. We have gifts that regular people don't understand. And I could see why they would think we're kind of crazy. And the other thing too is that as we've had these waves of awakening, as I refer to them, there are also people who are my little friend, who are what I call shysters. So there are those of us who are legitimate and who are doing our work and who know we have these gifts. And there are other people who, excuse me, I don't normally do my shows from this house, and I have the little kitty that has missed me because I've been gone for a few months. So when I started doing this work, I started noticing there are other people who say that they're psychic or say they're telepathic, and they also are out there taking advantage of people. And so one of the things that is really, really important for those of us who are healers and teachers and telepathic communicators to, one, really hold the truth that we know who we are and these are the gifts that we have, and also understand there are other people out there that are going to try to take advantage of it. And this isn't a fear thing. This is just from my personal experience over the last 15 years of dealing with people who are legitimate and who are not. And especially now with the social media, one of the things that I like about what we're calling this Lightworker protection is it also works with our social media. So I've had issues where people were pretending to be me and trying to scam my friends out of money, trying to sell crypto to friends of mine in my name. And they had money taken from them. And came back to me later and said, oh, I think I was scammed by somebody who was using your profile. So it's really, really important as our spiritual teachers, as spiritual leaders, in a sense, the work that we do, that we have spiritual protection. So I've been teaching spiritual protection for a long time, since 2010, and I even have an MP3 on my website that teaches people spiritual protection. And this is about creating a field, an energetic field of protection around yourself, around your children, around your home, around your domain of care, that prevents us from being energetically bombarded from other people's energy. So we can create this field of protection, a bubble of protection around ourselves every day. Well, one of the things that I found is that works energetically, and it works fantastically energetically. However, when we aren't in our cars, we lock our cars to protect our cars. We lock our homes to protect our homes. So why wouldn't we also add another level of protection around our everything in our domain of care? So for me, this Lightworker shield was what we're calling a Lightworker shield was kind of a lifesaver for me, because I had my identity stolen, and people have been trying to use it, and people have been trying to use my social media. And then as a small business owner in these holistic arts, let's put it that way, there's another level of protection that we need to have, because there are people out there who are fakers, who are infiltrators, who might try to take advantage of it. So I think that extra level of protection that this program offers is really, really important. So Jason, do you want to tell people a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for having us on the show. We're big fans, so definitely feeling really good about this. But yeah, a lot of people think spirituality, and they know that, the spirit's got them and everything's going to be fine. But in all reality, with the way the world is going, with the hackers being so good at being able to manipulate the system, and to be able to, now that AI has kind of come in to where they can kind of even act like you and sound like you, and it's a scary time. So our company is called Legal Shield, and what we do is we offer affordable lawyer service and identity protection for individuals, families, and businesses. So for the affordable lawyer service, I know most people are like, oh, well, I don't get in trouble, I don't really need a lawyer. But that's not really the case, because I actually got involved in this business about 14 months ago, because my kid's mom passed away. And unfortunately, we didn't have our will set up. So I've been taking care of our daughter since she's 13 years old. Since she's 3. She's now 13 years old. I taught her how to ride her bike, taught her how to tie her shoes. And, now because of a piece of paper, their mother dies, and I'm not her biological father, but I've been taking care of her just like she's mine. And now I have my kids separated because of a will. And when I found out that there was a solution, there was a service out there that protects families and individuals, to not have to go through the same situation that me and my kids are in, I went all in with the company. And, this company is a 52-year-old company. And what I love about it is it brings the affordability to the justice system that most people don't have. If you don't have $2,500 or $5,000 to drop on a retainer for a lawyer, then you can't be in that club. So, with our service, it's a monthly membership. And, the average cost is $37 a month. And you have the ability to get your will done, the ability to get your estate planning, your power of attorney, estate planning. Like I said, the powerful thing with this is you're saving $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just with those few things that we do for free included in the membership. So that's going to pay for your membership for years. But now you have a lawyer on retainer to be able to help you review documents, to review contracts, to review lease agreements, purchasing a home, whatever the case may be. Now you have a lawyer to be able to ask professional help and actually in your state of whatever laws are happening. But another huge thing with the identity protection We offer it for $20 for an individual or $35 for the whole family. And now you're going to be protected up to $3 million, which is massive because our government only covers us up to $250,000 in itself. So the fact that we're covered up to $3 million, and let me just ask you a question. If you were to get hacked, what do you do? Where do you start? Who do you contact? Our company will put a licensed private investigator on your account at no additional cost and get your accounts back to pre-hack status. So if you had an 800 credit score and because these people came in and ruined your credit, messed up all your accounts, and now you're at a 400, say it takes 400 hours to get that private, to get your accounts back to pre-hack status, you're not going to get an additional bill. You're only getting charged your $20 or $35, depending on what membership you have. And that's a powerful thing to be able to offer to people because too many people are getting messed with and screwed around and taken advantage of. And they really don't have anybody to go out there and protect them. So that's where we come into play.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. You know, and as a running a spiritual business, I think that having this extra protection, both with the ID and social media protection, and with the legal insurance, which is really what it is it gives us more confidence to come out of the spiritual closet, to step out more confidently in the work that we're here to do without reservation and hesitation of how it might be received, if that makes sense. So there is a confidence that comes with that. As Kathy was saying, the intergenerational wounds and the what I call the cellular memory, because our soul, like from previous life, I remember having my throat slit for one lifetime. And because we've experienced these traumas in the past doing our spiritual work, a lot of us were called witches in previous lifetimes. So it's kind of scary in this lifetime to come out and say, okay, here I am again, and hope that I don't die this time, right? And so this small business protection, the home-based business protection, allows us as small business owners to more confidently do our work without a reservation or hesitation about how it might be received, or who might say, well, you told me that da-da-da-da-da was going to happen and it didn't, so I'm going to sue you. Not that the people in our community would do that, but we're facing what I call the mass awakening. So we've had awakenings that have occurred in waves since the ascension began in the 1960s, and each wave gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's a tsunami coming.
Right.
And what happens with each one of these awakening waves is you have people who are on the spiritual ride with us, but there are also people in the undertow who are trying to take us down, or they're trying to get in on the bandwagon. And which is funny because not a lot of spiritual people make a lot of money, but for some reasons you have shysters that think they can make a lot of money at it. So it's like all the psychics that ended up having to be certified because there were so many people calling themselves ended up being lawsuits involved. So for me, this small business, home-based business protection is huge. It gives you more confidence to go out and do your soul's work without any reservation or hesitation for how it's going to be received by some people.
Well, I think also too is a huge thing with the business, because we kind of went over the family and the individual aspect of the business law or of the family law, but we also cover businesses. You know, we don't have a huge catalog of memberships or services that we offer. We sell three things. You know, we help families, individuals, and businesses, and we're really good at it. You know, so with the businesses, for one massive thing, our membership is 100% write-off. So having our service is almost like it's free, which if you're a business owner and you own any type of business, you need to have our service, because instead of having to wait for something to happen, you can be proactive. You know, to be able to have a lawyer to review your contracts in and out of state. So for instance, we have a membership that's only $99 for the whole month. Typically, when you have an issue with the lawyer, you're paying $5,000 for a retainer, $10,000 depending on whatever issue you have. But with us, you're only paying $100 a month. And now you have a lawyer for unlimited consultations, up to 1 hour of research per matter. You get a free copyright or trademark to be able to protect your logo, protect your business, your whatever your slogans are. You get a free one. So right there, we're saving you anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, literally, to be able to pay for your business membership for 5 years, 7 years, with the amounts of savings you're having, and you're fully protecting yourself. But to be able to have a law firm to be able to help you go chase your money, if you're out there and you're in a business where, sometimes you have to go chase your money, a lot of times lawyers or these companies charge 25, 30% to be able to go collect your money. Our company doesn't charge one penny, but that's an extra add-on that comes with our service. 25 hours of a tax audit assistance is built into the membership. We even have an add-on for $15 a month, which every single person that has signed up with a business membership with me has added this on because the value is there. A trial defense attorney costs anywhere from $500 to $600 an hour, just depending on which state you're in. So with us, for $15 a month, you can literally have 100 hours of a trial defense attorney. God forbid you were to get sued. And you know what? It's sad. It's really sad because we live in USA nowadays. You step on somebody's shoe and they're trying to sue you. So now we can offer a small up and coming business or a big business that's already been established. But the main thing, these mom and pops that are coming up, they can have that protection and to make sure that they are really secure in all their contracts, all their documents, and having the proper lawyers that know your law in your state is so, so important, because getting information, especially when you're opening a business, can really affect the long term of your business. And, with the conversion rate of, I think it's like 85% of businesses fail in the first year. So now we can give people a better chance on winning just by having that extra support.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that for myself, the will I had prepared, that was $5,000. My family trust was $5,000. It's all stuff I wish I knew before I spent all this money. And with my medical company, we probably spent over $100,000 in legal fees in the last couple of years. There's a whole nother thing about being involved in the medical field can be very risky. So, and that I haven't had that spill over into my spiritual healing business, with what's been happening in my traditional medical business has to do with Medicare. So in having to have attorneys clean up those records. So I know from my personal experience that having an attorney in my pocket is going to be one of the smartest business decisions I've made, because without that, I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years in attorneys that if I'd had this legal shield, I wouldn't have had to spend.
Well, I know when I first seen this too, I was spending around $25,000 every quarter on my lawyers, because I own 11 companies. So being a serial entrepreneur, there's always things coming at me. So I was spending tons of money, and now I'm only spending, $1,200 because of all my businesses on a monthly basis is a no brainer. But the one massive fact too is most people don't really feel like anything can happen to them. Oh, I'm good. I don't really have my information out there. My stuff is safe. I'm secure. The fact is that a couple months ago, there was almost 3 billion Social Security numbers that got leaked from the Social Security Administration. So the fact that we only have like 400 million Americans inside of America. So every single Social Security number is out there. Everybody's information, their private information is out there, unfortunately. So to be able to pay pennies on the dollar to be able to secure yourself is a no-brainer. And then I know on the bottom of the screen, you see text Joan for any details. If you guys have any questions, feel free to text us on that number. Joan is our partner in the business. She couldn't be with us today because of some family issues, but feel free to text that number. If you have any kind of issues, any kind of questions, we will do a private one-on-one consultation with you, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joan is ready for your calls, for your text messages. For those of you in Kathy's community knows, is Dr. Joan of Angels. So y'all know Joan. It's not a stranger. You all know and love her. Yeah. She's the one that's handling the calls because I'm taking care of business today too. So Joan is our partner. She's a partner with all of us.
Yeah.
Here in with Legal Shield, and also in the spiritual community. We all know and love her.
I wanted to share a couple things that have come up since I talked to Joan within the month. One of the things was one of my clients was talking about they had a traditional relationship with a lawyer who did everything for them, and the lawyer's now ill, and and it was a one-man shop. And she can't get anyone to answer her emails or phone calls, and don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. So it's a different when you go to a big firm or a team like what Jason's talking about, where someone else will pick up the slack if something happens. But when you've got this traditional relationship and the other person has personal events come up or an illness or something, you have to chase down your documents, because the relationship with that type of a doctor or lawyer is like a family advisor, and once you lose that, you have a huge void. Plus the expense of it is big. That was one
you
thing.
realize how much other people have to actually spend.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to suggest for people that are small business owners and servant leaders, I've been in business 24 years. In January, I'll be starting my 25th year. And I've been using the same contract over and over again for all these years. And every once in a while, somebody wants to change the language on it. That's okay. And in all these years, I've only had a couple of people not pay me. But in that we've changed. But it's fascinating to me about the idea of even to get your business contracts or your agreements that you have to get a legal advisor to do that. That someone called me yesterday and they asked me if I could write up a document of a business agreement, and I said, do you have a template? Because I don't want to have to create that. And this would be the time that you would want to call someone and say, hey, they've got to have templates. They've got to know what to do and what's better, what's the best way to do things, so you're not exposing anyone. Because the agreement is only as good as the two people that agree to it. But to have a loose agreement is just setting yourself up for failure.
Well, and then with our membership,
you're not
the
an
business,
attorney.
yes. So most of the contracts that get put in place, the language is for the person that's putting the contracts. It's all going to be on their benefit. So now that you have our lawyers, you can submit your paperwork. So what we did is we revolutionized the game, just like Amazon did to shopping malls and plazas. You don't have to get in the car and load up your whole family to go shopping now. You can click a button on your phone, an app, and go shop. And the next day you have stuff at your door. Same thing with Pandora did to record stores and CD stores. And we are revolutionizing the game with the justice system. We created an app, and we have lawyers all around the United States. And these lawyers are not just lawyers that got out of the bar association just last month. In order to be in our lawyer pool, I guess you could say, you have to be in business, and you have to be a bar associated lawyer for over 25 years with no disciplinary actions. So we're not just getting people that are just right out of high school or right out of college. These are lawyers that are very well vetted. They have been through many, many different cases, and they know the laws in their states. And then we're in 8 different provinces in Canada, so we have some of the best lawyers. Now, actually, I have a story. One of my friends in California, he's been a serial entrepreneur for a very long time. He heard about our service, heard about the business membership. He's like, no, I've been dealing with the same lawyers for years. And, they average about $400 an hour for their hourly charge. So he ended up signing up. I said, look, man, this is not meant for our lawyers. If you don't want them to handle your big affairs, it's fine. But why pay your lawyer $400 or $500 an hour to review your contracts, to write your contracts, to make phone calls on your behalf, to write letters on your behalf? Why would you why not just pay this membership so you don't have to pay the $400 or $500? How about he signs up for the membership, his lawyers are the same lawyers that are working with Legal Shield that he's getting paid the only $100 a month for his membership, but paying $400 an hour. So obviously he realized that he didn't need to have that lawyer because it's the same lawyer. You know, we're dealing with the top of the top lawyers in every single state that we're dealing with. So that's just something I like to share with people, because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I don't really want to be losing my lawyer. That's fine. But a lot of the time, you never know. They could be your lawyers that are already partnered up with us.
That's interesting. Sorry, guys.
That cat wants to be a part of this this
Well,
Zoom too.
that's what I think that people right now with AI, which I love AI, but you know, the idea of identity, that you could take one of these videos and get my voice and get my video and my picture and make, I mean, you really can hardly tell the difference. There's and it's done so quickly. The speed of doing business and communicating now is going like lightning speed. This is the time where you really would want some protection. And I don't even know with the politics how many of those political videos were even true or not. I mean, I don't know how exactly you can tell, but I'm enthusiastic about AI, so I'm not trying to discourage people from using it. It's a fantastic tool, like a screwdriver or a hammer is a tool, but it does create a whole different obstacle course for small business users, that they could be defamed pretty easily, or their information can be taken really easily.
Well, the problem with identity theft or fraud is it's the only crime in America that you have to prove your innocence before the everything comes down. We had a gentleman, he actually got his identity stolen. Somebody stole his identity, actually did some crimes, right? So he got pulled over one night with his family, and he gets pulled out of the car with a warrant to his arrest, right? He didn't realize that because his identity was stolen. Now, the craziest part about this is it was his cousin that stole his identity and did all these criminal activities. So you never know, like anybody could be at risk here. And it's sad that our own family is out here, you know, plotting against us. And, you know, you're born into a family. You don't choose your family. So, you know, you don't choose some of these things that happen to you. You know, good things happen to bad people, or bad things happen to good people all the time, you know, and now at least they have something like us to be able to protect them in their worst days.
Right. And I think it's really important that we're not trying to scare people, because ultimately what we're doing, we know we're trying to move out of a fear-based reality into a love-based reality. And yet as we evolve into this new reality where we will no longer have to worry about this eventually, when enough people choose love instead of fear. However, as we're in this transition phase right now, and in this transition phase, because there's so much more light on the planet, those who are playing in the dark are showing themselves even more than before. Where before you could like hide in the dark and do your dirty deeds in the dark. Well, there's so much light on the planet now that those people are being brought out from undercover. And so there is another level of protection that we need right now, because the dark side is getting desperate. And so for me, this feels like just an added level of insurance, of protection that can protect us from the dark players who might be wanting to take us down.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we're in this transition period. It feels really fluid, and anything you can do to have that something out of mind so you can focus on what you really came here to do, because the other's a distraction. What Jason was talking about having to do after the loss of his ex-wife, and I mean that is just consuming. And how can you run businesses, and servant leaders spend as much time working on their employees and supporting and growing their employees' consciousness and personal growth as they do on their customers. So their focus isn't necessarily totally here. It's to help others and to serve. And so servant leaders really could use this as a insurance plan almost, that they could focus out without worrying about all of the legalities, getting an LLC. And now they're changing the rules about how you write. I don't know if you guys don't know, but you have to fill out other forms for your LLC right now before the end of the year. And all of that stuff, it's not really readily available, but you don't want to be the person that the government goes after for not doing it. And so anything you could have that helps you, right, Jason?
Right, absolutely. I mean, the thing is too, I think I said it earlier, is most people just don't feel like it's going to happen to them. But it's like, you know, putting a one bullet or two bullets in a revolver and just spinning it around and taking your chances at that point. You know, that's a sad way to terrible analogy, but you get it. You know, we're in a weird spot right now, but you know, the beautiful thing is we have solutions for it. You know, and we're empowering a lot of people to be able to go out and be their best self, to be able to have their full mindset at what they need to be because they have the support of our company. You know, like you said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I own 11 companies. You know, even here, I'm helping Victoria and Joan build this business. You know, I help thousands of people across the United States and Canada with teaching them how to run home-based businesses, teaching them how to run dispensaries, teaching them how to do some of the other businesses that I do. So we're all here just to try to make everybody's life just a little bit easier by also building a legacy for our families and making sure that my kids don't have to have the same struggles as I did growing up, and they will never have to worry about that ever. You know, same things that I did.
Yeah, and ultimately that's what we all want, right? To give our
100%.
kids a better opportunity than we had, and as we pursue these the servant leadership, the spiritual based businesses, our soul's higher purpose, as I call it, as we move in that direction, this Lightworker shield, as we're calling it, offers that added layer of protection, that added layer of less stress, that added layer of less worry, so that we're able to go out there and do our work and know that that we're covered. It's another level of having the faith and knowing that we're taken care of. In the same way, as I said in the beginning, it's the same way as you know, having insurance on our car. Granted, it is more expensive than it needs to be, but we you know, you lock your car before you go into the store to make sure that it doesn't get broken into. It's a level of protection. You lock your house. You don't just go for days and leave your house unlocked. It's to protect your house. This is just another level of protection of our physical realm. So I think, you know, we can do the spiritual protection, which is fantastic and wonderful, and I do it almost every day. Some days I forget to wake up and do my spiritual protection. And yet, even with the spiritual protection that I do pretty much every day, my information ended up being in that big leak that took place. And I didn't know until I started getting messages that my information was on the dark web. Wow. So I get a message almost every day from Legal Shield about this is on the dark web. Here's another email address that's been hacked. One of my email addresses is always getting hacked. So that extra level of protection allows us to do our work with less stress and with less concern, and just to be able to go out and do our work and know that if something happens, we have that added support.
Right, right.
Right.
I wanted to add that I think peace of mind is so precious at this point. It's not just that I mean, I've been hacked on Facebook. I mean, and I'll tell people don't like or friend this person. And I think 20 people contacted Facebook and they didn't do anything about it. They finally took my picture off of it. But anyway, but they contacted all my friends, and the peace of mind of waking up in the morning and not having that as tethered to your mind as you're going through your day, that's priceless. I mean, seriously. And not having the stress of having to do it all at once, where you can email or call somebody and you get pieces of the puzzle until it's all done, rather than you have to put, like your tax returns, you have to put everything together and then go to the CPA. This is an interaction that flows. And so as a small business owner, you can actually plan how you're going to get the big project done, break it into pieces, right, Jason?
Yeah.
The way it's
because
done.
we have it all done through an app. So whenever you need to request a consult, you request a consult, and a list of different categories of lawyers is going to pop up specific to whatever you need. And again, they're specialized in their category, in their division of law. And then what happens is you tell just a little paragraph, or if you have to upload any kind of documents, whatever, you just upload, tell a little paragraph, and then a calendar link is going to pop up. So you pick the date and you pick the time, and then the lawyers reach out to you at that point. And this has made everything so streamless, because everything, it's like you're setting your own appointment. So how are you going to miss your own appointment? You know, you're doing it on your availability. So it's making things a lot easier. And then it's helping with the flexibility of everybody.
Yeah.
So we have a little more time to talk about. Could you guys, or Jason or Victoria, could you tell us some positive outcome stories or information that people might be able to relate to? Like in my case, somebody not paying me even though they signed a contract. I don't have time to fight, and there goes $2,000, and $2,000 is, for a small business, is substantial. They got the service. Well, yeah, I mean, that when they see me,
I have some really good stories.
Oh, good. Okay, could you share? Because I'm sure I'm not the only person that
so a friend of mine
taking advantage of.
So a friend of mine, she's an ex Miss Florida, Miss America pageant, Miss Florida. She won, and she actually was driving down I-75, and it was after a routine checkup at Kia, and she went, and when she was driving, her tire fell off of her vehicle while she was driving on 75, so she got in a wreck, almost died. They weren't really trying to take any accountability for the issue until our lawyers reached out to them. It's a little bit different when you're trying to talk to their customer service people and let them know what's going on. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to hear from my lawyer. But when you really have the access to do it, so she had our lawyers reach out, write some letters on her behalf. She ended up they were also trying to mess with her credit because she wasn't paying for the vehicle at that point, on a monthly basis, because it was on their fault. That her tire even fell off, and the whole thing totaled anyway. So they were trying to mess with her credit. Anyway, our lawyers write some letters. They call the customer service for the lawyer division of the car company, and they ended up taking this off of her credit report. So now it's not even getting dinged on her report. She got a $10,000 check to be able to go buy a new vehicle, or at least a down payment. That was the amount that her vehicle was worth. So that was all done within a 4-week period. She was dealing with this stuff for 3 months before us. And then after having us, 4 weeks, we took care of it. So that was one amazing story. And she's been an advocate for the company ever since, because we do have an affiliate. So if anybody's on here that likes to make extra money, please text Dr. Jones so we can go over those details as well. Another great story. I have a good friend of mine named Marissa. She actually was having some issues with her landlord, right? Landlords sometimes can be a little bit of an issue to deal with. And, you know, she moved. She ended up moving to another place because of the landlord was giving so much problems. The landlord was trying to take her security deposit. Now, this was only like $2,400, but at the same time, for a small business, that $2,400 could pay for products, could pay for her employees, whatever the case may be. So the landlord was trying to say some BS in the contract. So our lawyers reached out, wrote a letter stating that Marissa didn't do anything wrong. She cleaned the place like it was supposed to, just like it stated in the contract. So she also, about 2.5 weeks later, got a check from the landlord over $2,400. So that was able to go into her business to be able to help her pay for things instead of just helping this lawyer or helping this jerk of a landlord. I'm sorry. So that was an awesome, a really good testimonial. But also, Legal Shield, we have thousands of testimonials that we're actually putting together. So the company realized that's one thing. Stories sell, facts tell, stories sell. So our company, we're actually going to all our members and we're putting together all different types of testimonials of actual users. So we're going to be publishing this very, very soon, probably within the next 2 weeks, where there will be thousands of people just like you and me that are telling their true personal testimonials of how this membership has benefited them. But we could probably do a whole segment on just benefits of how many great benefits, because we, in the last year of being a part of this company, we've helped over 2,000 families, individual or businesses get protected. So we have hundreds and hundreds of people that have already had amazing testimonials with the service.
That's great. That's what I wanted to hear, because I really think that until you have had a problem and you either decided, well, is it worth the energy and the time, because you only have a finite amount of time as a small business. And so a lot of times you just let it go because it's better to go make money again somewhere else, right?
I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's even, so we're talking a lot about the business, but a friend of mine, actually, he had a shirt. He's brought it to the dry cleaner, $45 shirt, nothing crazy. Nobody's going to go. So he brings it, they get a little burn hole in there from the steamer or whatever the case may be. Nobody in their right mind is going to spend $300 on a lawyer to get a $45 shirt. But with our service, our lawyers were able to write a letter on his behalf, and then he was able to get money back compensated for his shirt. Before the lawyer hit him up with the letter on their behalf, they were like, sorry, that's just not our policy. Well, sorry, my policy is I brought my shirt with no holes. I expect it with no holes. So our lawyer was able to get them their $45, which again, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but this was a huge factor for me, because now the average little guy doesn't have to get messed around for not being our policy, and have, the ability to get a $45 shirt taken care of, or a $10,000 vehicle, whatever the case. We can help in every situation.
So Victoria, do you want to add anything to your experience or your knowledge?
I actually have one of my own, and this was a few years ago. So I had Legal Shields way back when, because this company has been around. For those who are asking, is this some new idea that it's like the new hot thing? No, they've been around for a long time. They used to be called
Prepaid Legal, 52-year-old company.
Legal. Yeah. So I had it as Prepaid Legal years ago. And my own little story with it was, I worked for this company. I did a great job. And the manager of my department brought the company a lot of money. He was one of their highest producing employees, and he was my direct manager. Well, he would come to work sometimes inebriated. He would come to work, and we could tell by his mood how successful the date was the night before, if you know what I mean. And so there was one time then he would just, like, he was a little temper tantrums. He was like a 2-year-old, he'd come in and have his temper tantrums. So there was one day he came in and he put his hands around my neck and threatened me. So I went to human resources and I complained about this guy to human resources, and they said, yeah, he's got a problem, but and I knew that he made millions of dollars a year for this company. So instead of doing something with him, they threatened to fire me. So I did my call to prepaid legal, and I don't know what the magic was they did. They wrote a letter, they sent it to the company I worked for, and the next day, instead of firing me, they found me another position with the company.
Wow.
So, and it was actually a much better position, a lot more freedom, and it was more money. So that's not a huge story for some people, but for me, it was huge. It was, looking at getting laid off and not having a job. But the 5-minute phone call to prepaid legal actually ended up getting me a better job.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So as we said before, if you are interested in getting this service, or even considering this as another income stream, if you work with small businesses and you know that this, it's almost an epidemic of identity theft is real, and there's as Jason said, people are a little Sue crazy. So if you're interested, we want you to text Joan, and the phone number is 415-717-1385. And she'll be able to walk you through all the information that you need.
Text Kathy's show if they could. If
Oh,
they text
okay.
Kathy, just so we know where we come, because we're doing shows every single day with multiple influencers like yourself. And again, thank you so much for having us on your show. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Well, this is the time for people to really shine. And if they've got this burden over their head or fear, I just think this is so smart, a very easy and affordable way to reduce those burdens, so you can go full out, because we're in changing times. And the other thing is as things change, you know that you're going to be notified. You're not relying on having to get on the internet every morning and search yourself to find out what small business needs. If you're in a organization like this, you'll be notified what's going on and be able to protect yourself. So that alone could be worth it.
Well, and I know you were talking about people that already work with a lot of B2B people, business to business. We also offer this as an employee benefit. My team alone, we have the whole state of Florida Sheriff's Department. So if the Sheriff's Department probably think this is a good idea for their employees, I would have to say that it's probably a good employee, a good fit for yours. Another couple huge contracts that we have is LCEC, which is all of Lee County Electric Company, the Lee County School Board. We offer it to every single teacher in Lee County. And we're actually looking to go into any other areas. If you're in a 55 and up community and you want us to come speak to your people, we got your back all day. We are here to educate the masses so they understand that we're even here. Our main mission is to educate people so they can make an educated decision if they want to protect their business or their family.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That's actually an amazing business opportunity for people. So if you're someone who's looking for an additional income stream, or your household needs an additional income, that B2B can be extremely profitable. Yeah.
Well, and anybody in B2B already has the relationship set up, and now it's just saying, hey, I added another item into my tool belt, or I added another service that we offer to our clients. And we're working with a ton of people that are already doing it. So it's something that's already happening. So if you are a part of that world, you should definitely text Dr. Jones so we can get together and go over the compensation plan. Because I know myself, I've only been a part of this company for 12 months, and I've already made a little over $220,000 in the last 12 months. just by referring people. I didn't go to law school. I didn't learn anything about the identity protection. We're just a referral agent for the company.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. But you also are such a great example of making sure that everyone has an equal opportunity instead of only the rich get to have all the tax shelters and all the legal support. This is for everyone. And
Oh yeah, if you have a big influence, a big network, and you're hungry, then definitely shoot us a text, because those are the people. We're looking for people all over the United States and Canada, and there are people out there just like us, hungry people that want to have more for our families, but also want to be on a mission-driven company that is actually helping people. You know how good it is to get those text messages and calls saying, "Hey, I got my will done. I got my estate planning. Thank you so much." It just makes you feel good.
Perfect. Thank you. So we're going to wrap up now. Victoria, would you like to add anything to close?
Yeah, for me, this is a real service to humanity. And there are a lot of opportunities that come and go in my field every day, as I know they do with you, Kathy, as well. And when this came into my field, yes, I recognized it as a benefit for me, primarily because I'd had my ID was part of that breach, and I'm, continually now having this just to keep an eye on what's happening with it, and knowing that I have this team of people that are assisting me with that. But I'm always looking at the bigger picture. How can what I do be of greater service to humanity? And so when this project came across my desk, I was like, oh yeah, this is an easy one. It's an easy add-on for me of the services that I provide my clients, but it also feels like it is a service to humanity. Perfect. And that it is something that exists that can help anyone. And I this is why Jason and I and Joan were so excited about sharing it within our spiritual communities and within our communities of entrepreneurs, because we believe so strongly in the peace of mind that this provides and in the additional support that this provides without this massive financial layout. I'm excited about the trademark, because I have things I've been saying for years I want to trademark, but as Joan of Angels can tell you, it's about $5,000 to trademark your name. She just did that about 6 months ago. And she's like, man, I wish I'd have known about Legal Shield before that. I would have saved her $5,000. And just to have these added services and this added support that is available for our small business community. And so that's why I'm excited about it, not only for my own personal services, but because I really, really believe this is a service to humanity. And I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Great. So Jason, would you like to share? Thank you, Victoria. That was perfect. Jason, would you like to share anything before we wrap up?
No, I mean, if it makes sense, then, definitely give us a call. And again, thank you so much for having us on the show. If you're an influencer out there that you would like us to come on your show, let us know. We're here to educate the mass, and, for educating the mass and bringing it to people's attention, we're able to build a nice little nest egg for our families and build a nice legacy with a company that's been around for 50 plus years. So thank you again, and look forward to future endeavors.
Oh, thank you. And everyone, please share this if you feel that you have friends or family that you're watching as they go through a lot of stress and trauma, trying to do things on their own, and they really could use this help. Please get a hold of Joan and really do yourself a favor to check this opportunity out. To see if this is the right time and the right thing for you. So thank you both. Thank you, Victoria. Always a pleasure. And
Always
Jason, nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you. And have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you. Please share.
God bless. Thank you.